Coming up at 6, a new debate is heating up in Kentucky. Proposed legislation could dramatically change who can run for state and local office. We'll tell you how this could impact your vote and even current lawmakers. Plus, the latest crime statistics are out from the Bowling Green Police Department, now giving us a clear picture of public safety across the community. We'll break down what these numbers mean for you and your neighborhood.
We've got multiple rounds of colder air expected as we look ahead to the next week. I'll tell you what that means about precipitation chances coming up.
Local first now. We bring you WBKO News at 6.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us at 6. I'm Gene Burke. New at 6, new legislation filed in Kentucky is gaining a lot of attention because if it's passed, only U.S.-born natural citizens could hold state or local office. Republican Representative Shane Baker of Somerset is behind the two measures filed during the first week of the General Assembly. House Bill 186 targets local elected offices, while House Bill 259 is a proposed constitutional amendment for state offices. Both bills would require candidates running for office to be natural-born citizens of the United States. Current State Representative Nima Kulkarni of Louisville was born in India, but later became a naturalized citizen. If these bills are passed, it would keep her from running for re-election to the State House or any other office down to the school board. Kulkarni says she's disappointed this legislation has even been proposed.
Kentucky is facing a lot of challenges, especially as we're looking at the closure of rural hospitals. How are we going to navigate people not being able to access federal benefits for food, for health care? Those are the issues that we need to be focusing on. I don't think Kentuckians are asking for the moon here. I think they just want to be able to live their lives.
These proposed bills have pushed Representative Kulkarni's own father to file at the last minute to run for the State House. Kulkarni says she's not surprised to see her father take a stand and hopes more people will do the same.
Also new at 6, House Bill 61 has been filed during the first week of the legislative session. Kentucky Representative John Hodgson is the sponsor of this proposed legislation. The bill aims to create the Kentucky Emergency Volunteer Corps. Volunteers will be trained to help during emergency situations like tornadoes or floods. Removing storm debris, radio communications are some ways the group will help out. Hodgson says the idea is to have additional help during a disaster and more organization when responding.
Rather than if you have a tornado, have a bunch of people run out to help with a chainsaw and a pair of gloves, you need to have some organization, some training. But I think also it's very difficult for our young people today to get involved like that, have something to do. We have scouts graduate from scouting. We have Bluegrass Challenge Academy people graduate. You don't really know where to go serve.
The KEV Corps would be completely volunteer and would not use taxpayer dollars. Instead, corporate donations and grants, along with private donations, would be used to purchase uniforms and equipment. Reporting in studio, Avery Catalano, WBKO News.
Thank you, Avery. Turning now to new details out of Madisonville, where they say a traffic stop led to a drug dealing arrest. Police say they stopped a car Saturday night on Sugg Street, where they found 23-year-old Josie Crafton. After approaching her vehicle, she initially refused to get out of the car, but eventually admitted to hiding drugs, according to police. Officers say they found 2 large bags of meth and some needles. Crafton is being charged with trafficking meth and drug possession. One person is dead and a body has been recovered after a house fire in Ohio County on Sunday. The sheriff's office responded to the house fire in Centertown at around 2:15 p.m. yesterday. Other agencies that responded include the Centertown Fire Department, Hartford Fire Department, and the Ohio County Coroner's Office. The investigation remains ongoing. We'll continue to update you on air, online, on our website, and at WBKO.com. Here in Bowling Green, police have released their latest crime statistics, offering a snapshot of public safety across the area. WBKO's Adam Ferguson spoke with the department to break down these statistics and take a look at what the numbers show.
For the Bowling Green Police Department, each year sees thousands of calls to action. In 2025, the city of over 72,000 people saw a total of 11,198 citations and 4,195 arrests.
I'm not certain what people think crime is like in our town, mostly because If you pay attention to social media, you would think that every time that there's a posting that says shots are fired here or EMS police fire en route to a stabbing or something, that people would think that maybe that person died from those wounds. If you pay attention to those things, you would think that crime is terrible, out of control. But the reality is, according to the statistics, it's not the case.
According to Ward, there has been a downward trend in calls overall, though there were 3 murders investigated in 2025, an increase of 2 from the previous year.
You know, a lot of times when there is a crime that's occurred, everyone wants to know why. Why did this happen? Why did they do it? And we're not always able to put a reason behind it. But I'll tell you, across America, every community, including ours, suffers from some sort of a drug component in their crimes.
Ward said 536 drug citations were issued in 2025, with 503 drug paraphernalia items seized. Another major source of calls came from vehicular collisions. There were 3,666 total collisions in Bowling Green, with 703 total injuries and 8 fatalities.
What we see as a cause of collisions in Bowling Green is inattention. People don't realize someone in front of them slowing down and they run into the back of them. We see a lot of collisions like that. You can't really go back as far as to say how many collisions we had prior to cell phones, but what I would say is we have a lot of distractions in our vehicles now. We have radios and phones and food, and I've even seen people getting ready for work on their drive. They're shaving or they're putting makeup on, things like that. That oftentimes causes people to run into each other just because they get sidetracked or they're paying attention to something else.
Reporting in Bowling Green, Adam Ferguson, WBKO News.
Other crime statistics include shoplifting, with 500 reported cases, and larceny, with almost 1,800 citations. More details can be found on our website, WBKO.com.
We had that sunshine today. We've got clear skies for tonight. It won't quite be as cold as it was earlier this morning. Here's a live look along the Scottsville Road this evening. We've got the headlights on, the brake lights as well. A lot of traffic still out there. 42 degrees, winds very light from the south at 7 miles per hour. Temperatures across the state got 42 from Bowling Green to Evansville, Indiana, and Louisville, a little bit chillier further to the east, middle 30s from Lexington to Jackson. As we look at those temperatures for the next few hours, they're coming down little by little. We'll settle around freezing on the late night. We are expecting fairly warm conditions for tomorrow. Highs getting to about 60 degrees. Rain showers start to move in late Tuesday and then into Wednesday, and maybe even some isolated snow showers as it gets colder. We'll talk about 2 rounds of Arctic air we have in that 7-day coming up.
Thank you, David. Turning now to a health alert, where according to the CDC, many states are seeing a record number of flu cases, but that's not the only virus making the rounds. Doctors have started to notice an uptick in co-infections. That's when a child gets sick with 2 different viruses at once, like flu and COVID. In most cases, a child is usually able to recover at home with supportive care. However, in more serious cases, kids may need antiviral medications or even require a hospital visit.
Co-infections today are much more common now. It may be that we're able to test for more viruses at one time, therefore we're picking up that somebody has more than one virus, whereas in the past we didn't have those tests that look for 20 to 30 viruses.
If your child does get sick and begins to experience worsening symptoms, such as chest pain, difficulty breathing, or change in mental status, it's important to find medical attention as soon as you can. And according to a survey from reviews.org, around half of Americans admit they feel addicted to their cell phones, which is why it's important to adopt healthy digital habits.
Did you know on average, the average person picks up their cell phone 186 times per day? And although our devices are pretty handy, they can also be pretty distracting and lead to addiction. Some tips for healthier digital habits includes scheduling tech-free time during your day, or even setting device-free zones in your house. Local AT&T expert Lindsay Kendall emphasizes maintaining a healthy balance and cutting down on non-essential phone use.
Something that I like to do is to use tech to help me step away from my phone. So maybe you have a Bluetooth speaker or headphones and you're listening to an audiobook or a podcast. Now you're not on your phone per se, but you're still allowing tech to help you disconnect. And I think that's something that everybody could try. You know, your phone's out of reach.
It's also recommended to track your screen time on your phone weekly to pinpoint the apps you spend the most time on. Reporting in Bowling Green, Ananda Wallace, WBKO News.
AT&T has an app for that called AT&T Secure Family that helps manage and track internet usage. For more information regarding the app, visit the website on your screen. At least 50 universities fired their head football coaches in 2025, paying them millions and shattering various season buyout records.
If your blood pressure stays high, no matter what you do, or how many medicines you try, excess cortisol could be the reason why. Cortisol is an important hormone in the body, but over time, too much cortisol can keep your blood pressure high and cause other symptoms, like high blood sugar and weight gain. A blood test can tell if excess cortisol has been the problem all along. Ask your healthcare provider for a cortisol test and visit cortisolandcontrol.com.
Taxes. Just the word causes stress. Taxes can be so confusing. You need professional tax service. 3 generations of caring professionals working hard to save you money. Fairview Plaza in Bowling Green, 781-4141.
New at 6, a new set of royalty was crowned in Louisville today. The Kentucky Derby Festival officially introduced this year's princesses. 5 women, most from the Louisville area, were chosen out of 100 applicants this year. The princesses selected this year include an aspiring doctor, engineer, psychologist, storyteller, and a U.S. Air Force pilot. Each member of the royal court will get a $2,000 scholarship. The Derby, Festival Queen will be chosen during the Phillies Ball on March 28th. Turning now to your consumer news, where it's a perfect time to establish clear goals and make personal financial decisions for a prosperous 2026. Not resolutions, but practices can help create economic stability with a little effort. An executive from one of the major credit bureaus spoke about some moves you can make to keep your money straight in 2026.
So our forecast shows that we're going to stay pretty much the same.
Michelle Ranieri is Vice President and Head of U.S. Research and Consulting for TransUnion, one of the 3 nationwide providers of consumer reports. Ranieri says this stability is significant because this could be a signal to the end of what has been called the COVID credit cycle.
Best things that you can do probably right now, especially with interest rates that have been ticking down over this year, is to get a personal loan, like a consolidation loan, to pay off your credit card.
The loan.
As always, Ranieri stresses pay attention to your available credit and what percentage of that credit you're using, and pay your bills on time. A major change is coming this spring for Kentucky high schoolers. Find out why the state is making a big switch and what it means for the students' future. That's coming up.
Temperatures this afternoon, we topped out pretty close to that 50-degree mark, getting officially to 49, so just 3 degrees above normal. Look at that low temperature, that record low, minus 26, set back in 1886. That is the coldest temperature ever recorded in Bowling Green. Obviously nowhere near that, but we do have some Arctic air in that forecast to discuss after the break.
WBKO's First Alert Weather, brought to you by MedCenter Health.
It's a nice quiet night ahead for us. It will be rather chilly, but not quite as cold, not quite as frosty as it was this morning, although we will settle down to around freezing on the late night, so you may still have a little frost to deal with tomorrow morning on the vehicle. This is Scottsville Road with our AAA Systems live cam. Plenty of traffic as we continue into the evening. Temperatures continuing down into the 30s in Glasgow, E-Town, Litchfield, 37 degrees. We have 37 here in Bowling Green, 36 in Franklin. The cold is a big part of the weather story as we look ahead over the next several days. Tomorrow looks great. 60 degrees. And then on Wednesday, we begin that transition down. Highs only at 32 by Thursday. And then as we get into the weekend, highs into the 30s as we get another shot of Arctic air. And this is how things are playing out. This big blob of purple here is indicating that colder air coming in from Canada. So this is the first round. This is the next round of cold that we're going to deal with for the middle and latter half of the week. And then we get another reinforcing shot of cold air to come down during the weekend. And that's going to be even colder. Highs won't even get to freezing by the end of the weekend, and we'll have those lows down into the teens. So wintertime is certainly taking its grips on the area over the next several days here. Doppler max, right now it is all quiet, and a future max for us, just some high clouds passing through the night. Now I'm saying that winter is taking its full grip on the area, but not so much tomorrow, as temperatures will be getting to around 60 degrees with more of that sunshine. Clouds will increase, and then you can see those rain showers starting to work in late Tuesday and then into Wednesday. Starting off the day with more widespread rain showers as that front continues to move through. Winds will turn gusty, temperatures turning colder, and maybe even a few snow showers. Right now they look to be mainly further to the east, and we could have potentially a few slick spots as we get deeper into the night. Not expecting any real big snow by any means, but it's something we are certainly keeping an eye on for you. For tonight, mainly clear skies, 32 degrees with those passing clouds. And for the day on Tuesday, enough sunshine overall. Grab the sunglasses. It is a comfortable day. It's one of those days where you dress in layers. During the afternoon, 60 degrees. That's feeling pretty good. It's a day to really enjoy the weather because we're not going to be able to hold on to that for very long. We've got the rain showers coming in on Wednesday. It is much colder on Thursday. Friday temperatures, we peak back into the 40s, and then we're just in the 30s and teens for lows later into the weekend.
Looking ahead, a change is coming this spring for Kentucky high school students. The state, which traditionally used the ACT as the standard measurement to get into college, will now switch to the SAT. The Kentucky Department of Education says it'll save the state more than $350,000. As Rob Wells found out, administrators are looking far beyond the bottom line.
As Chief Academic Officer for Hardin County Schools, Greg Sutton knows prepping students for college entrance exams will look different this spring after the state voted to switch from ACT to SAT formats.
And it didn't officially pass, I think, like September 23rd. So we were into this school year before we really found out that this change was going to be made.
Sutton said the SAT is accepted nationwide and at a number of Kentucky schools, including U of L, UK, WKU, and EKU. It relies more on critical thinking versus the ACT module.
The ACT did have an English, math, or reading, and a science section. What you see about the SAT is it doesn't necessarily have a section specific to science. It's primarily reading, writing, and math. But what they do is they integrate the science questions across the different sections within the test.
Depending on how well the student does in the first half of the SAT, the questions automatically adjust for the remainder of the exam.
It is adaptive type test where it does take into consideration when students miss certain questions, it can increase or decrease the level of difficulty of the questions they receive so they can get a more accurate score on the students.
While the ACT was offered in both handwritten and digital formats, the SAT is electronic only. And while the ACT could take more than 3 hours to complete, the SAT runs around 2.
It's hard to keep a student's attention over 3 hours and 35 minutes on a test, and I think this is going to allow kids to showcase more about what they really know and what they could achieve.
Sutton added around 1,100 juniors in the Hardin County District will be taking the SAT. They had a contract with a company called CERT that administers practice ACT tests. Sutton added the same company offers an SAT format to get students prepared. Lady Topper basketball picked up its first CUSA win over the weekend. Here from head coach Greg Collins, on what he believes will be the key to continued success. Next, in sports.
Why would anybody do that?
If you're paying high interest rates on your credit cards, you're burning money. We're Consolidated Credit, and we've been helping Americans for over 30 years. Let us work with your creditors to reduce your total payments by up to 50%. Lower your high interest rate credit cards and stop juggling multiple payments. We help you pay down your debt faster than you can on your own, all while saving you thousands in interest charges. Consolidate your credit card bills into one affordable payment today. You don't have to be good with money, because we are. Call 800-320-1579 for a free consultation. 800-320-1579. Call Consolidated Credit today. That's 800-320-1579. 800-320-1579.
Lady Topper basketball currently sits at 5-10 and recently picked up their first conference win of the season against UTEP last Saturday. One win is a start, but in Conference USA, consistency is the real measure. The real challenge comes on the road this week at Sam Houston and Louisiana Tech. Road execution defines a team, from shot selection to protecting double-digit leads. Head coach Greg Collins knows this group is still evolving. The focus isn't just on stacking wins, but reaching the level of play needed for a March run. Here's Coach Collins on turning a breakthrough win into a lasting team identity.
It's not, the message hasn't changed. You know, yes, it helps to go to practice after a win and then coming off a tough loss, but the message hasn't changed. It's about learning and getting better, improving as a team so that we're playing our best when we get to March. And that's been the message to all of them from the time they showed up, because it's unrealistic in the way the landscape is today in athletics to think that you're going to get a player in August and they're going to be sharp as a team in November. But the focus is still learning. And we'll have to learn better about our shot selection in the third quarter, about our defensive rebounding in the third quarter, and about our execution with a 10-point lead down the stretch. And so we'll learn about those things and hopefully carry it to Houston and Louisiana.
The Lady Toppers aim to pick up their second CUSA win at Sam Houston this Thursday at 6:30. You can watch it live on ESPN+. The question of when Michael Brown Jr. will return to the lineup continues at U of L as a talented freshman continues to sit out due to a back injury. Brown hasn't played since the Memphis game back on December the 13th. He has now missed 6 straight games, including Saturday's win over Boston College, and he's unclear when he will make his return to the floor.
He wants to be out there really, really, really bad. He's working extremely hard to get back out there, and when he's ready, we'll give you guys more information, but I don't have any other update right now.
That's your look at sports. We'll be right back with one more look at your forecast.
Why would anybody do that?
If you're paying high interest rates on your credit cards, you're burning money. We're Consolidated Credit, and we've been helping Americans for over 30 years. Let us work with your creditors to reduce your total payments by up to 50%. Lower your high interest rate credit cards and stop juggling multiple payments. We help you pay down your debt faster than you can on your own, all while saving you thousands in interest charges. Consolidate your credit card bills into one affordable payment today. You don't have to be good with money, because we are. Call 800-320-1579 for a free consultation. 800-320-1579. Call Consolidated Credit today. That's 800-320-1579. 800-320-1579.
It's a nice mild forecast for your Tuesday. Hopefully you can get outside and enjoy it. Enough sunshine for the day. We start to get more clouds, rain showers later Tuesday night into Wednesday. It's turning colder during the afternoon, maybe some snow showers in there. 32 on Thursday, and you can see the forecast is cold over the weekend.
Yes, it is. Thanks, David. And thank you for joining us at 6. We'll see you at 10 o'clock. Until then, have a great evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us.